Hello and welcome to our lesson on radicals, rational and irrational numbers. A definition first. A rational number is a number that can be written as a ratio or as a fraction. Same thing. So 2 can be written as 2 over 1 because you remember you can take a whole number and divide it by 1 and it turns it into a fraction. Negative 4 can be written as negative 4 over 1. It's still a whole number, it was just negative. We call it an integer, and it can be written over the number 1, which turns it into a fraction. Radical 9, how can that be written as a fraction? Well, if you take radical 9 and you simplify it, radical 9 actually equals 3. There's a whole number, and I can put a 1 underneath it, and it turns into a fraction. 1.5 can be written as, if it's 1 and 1/2, isn't that a fraction already? Let's look at this. If a number is not rational, then it would be irrational. An irrational number is a number that cannot be written as a ratio or a fraction. 1.6 can't be written as a fraction because it's repeating decimal. 1.6666, and it goes on forever. So I never have a place where I can draw a line and stop the line to write the actual fraction. Radical 2 is a non-terminating decimal. It has a bunch of different numbers after it, and it goes on for quite a while, and you can't stop it, so you don't have a stop place to stop drawing the line for the fraction. It can't be written as a fraction. It has to be irrational then. And pi, the most famous irrational number, 3.14, and it keeps going forever. You can never write a fraction with that because you never stop writing the numerator. Now, 1.6 is a repeating decimal. It never has an end, so it can never be written as a fraction. 6 repeating, so it's the same number going on forever. Radical 2 is going to be a point number, a decimal number, and it's going to have a bunch of different numbers that follow it, which means it's a non-terminating decimal, and it cannot be written as a fraction. Non-terminating is what it's called. And then pi, the most famous irrational number, is 3.14, and it just keeps going forever. So there's no way you can draw that line and know where to stop drawing it for the fraction because the numbers never stop on the numerator. Let's see, are these rational or irrational? I have 2 radical 3. Radical 3 is an irrational number. It turns into a decimal that doesn't stop, so it's a non-terminating decimal. You can't write a non-terminating decimal as a fraction, so this would be irrational. And then look at the next one. We have radical 3 on the bottom. Radical 3 never ends, so you can't write a number on the bottom that never ends on a fraction. There we go. We've got another irrational fraction. And then 4 over 16. Well, wait, if you take the square root of 16, you're actually going to have 4. And if you take the square root of 4, you're going to have 2. And isn't that 1/2? Isn't that already written as a fraction? So it's a rational number. Remember, if it can be written as a fraction, it's rational. If it can't be, it's irrational. Quick review. Rational numbers can be written as a ratio, also called a fraction. Irrational numbers cannot, not be written as a ratio or a fraction. Irrational numbers include repeating decimals, so that 0.6666 that we were talking about, non-terminating decimals, so random numbers and they keep going forever, and the most famous example is pi. An irrational number cannot stay as a denominator. Can't be written as a fraction, can't be considered rational, so it's irrational. And that's it for our lesson on radicals, rational and irrational numbers.